Mics are on. That's great. Welcome. It's good to see everybody here. You'll have to bear with me. Somewhere between New York, Bangalore, Doha, and Abu Dhabi, I lost my voice. So, but I'm sure we'll be fine. Mr. Shroff, it's a pleasure to have you here in Abu Dhabi.
Thank you, Dilip.
Welcome to Abu Dhabi. Welcome to ADGM. Congratulations on setting up the firm here. To my knowledge, and my knowledge of this place is fairly extensive, you're the first Indian law firm to open in Abu Dhabi in ADGM. I know your esteemed background, the firm's history. Maybe you could give us a little bit about the firm. What made you open an office in the Middle East? Why ADGM? And I know that your first office outside of India was in Singapore, so it'd be interesting to hear the comparison between Abu Dhabi or ADGM and Singapore.
So thank you very much, Dilip. Pleasure to be here. We are absolutely delighted to be part of the Abu Dhabi community and ADGM specifically. So it was a very interesting decision to come here and participate in the phenomenal growth that's going on in this region. The capital of capital and related themes pertaining to that was what attracted us. There's also a very strong India-UAE connection as well, which drove some of our decision. And ADGM was very welcoming and sort of really, recognized the strength of the India-UAE relationship and, made things easy for us. We've been here about 9 months now, and everything is looking great. We're here for the long run because I think certainly one of the aspects of succeeding here is that we need long-term commitment. So we are here for the long term. Just a quick history of the firm. Goes back 108 years. Was founded in 1917. We'll be the largest firm in India, about 1,100 lawyers, 200 plus partners, and we literally, like you would expect, a full-service law firm practicing across different topics. And we've had a little bit of a adventure spirit as well, which is why we opened an office in Singapore and now here as well. Singapore is about 2 years old, and it's doing well. So I think we are kind of witnessing the globalization, if I can call it that, of Indian law firms.
That's great. And I think, look, you're part of the India Inc. story as it extends across the globe. On that note, given the recent geopolitical events, the new Trump administration that's coming in, how do you think this will affect India going forward? What should investors be mindful of? And how would you compare India to other Asian countries right now?
So I think the world is in the middle of a geopolitical storm, effectively. And within that, I think India continues to be a relative oasis of calmness. But let's just sort of do a quick world tour. I think the US, with the new Trump administration around the corner, and it's as the global policeman looking at everything that's happening across the globe in Europe and West Asia. What we're looking at seeing in Europe as well is following the developments in France and Germany and Italy. It's again a very unstable environment. Looking at South Asia, India is in the middle of a ring of fire. We have Pakistan on one side, China on the north, Bangladesh, which we all kind of know of, and Sri Lanka. So it's a complicated situation where we are in. South Korea, we just sort of saw last week what happened. So I think geopolitics is very much on the mind of not only governments, but businesses all over as well. And within that, I think that we are facing a 2025, 2026. I think geopolitics is going to be a very major boardroom theme in terms of how business is going to do and what should be the priorities. So within that, I think for India, there are multiple cuts to this. I think the first one is just the Indian opportunity as well. So we finally got our act together on a number of things. We have political stability, rule of law, a functioning democracy, and lots of economic themes. For example, we're the most populous nation on earth, which also sort of goes along with creating demand We have the largest data pool in the world as well, and in a world where technology is so important and digital assets are extremely critical. I think we have all the tailwinds that are required for making the Indian economy go from strength to strength. So in the larger geopolitical background, I think India is well positioned. It will have to very carefully navigate the pulls and tugs of different forces, for example, between US and Russia, between US and China. But so far, we've done a good job.
Great, thank you. Everyone looks at India as the growth story, the India growth story. So venture capital, private equity get involved in these early stage businesses, maturing businesses. But this is really a room for turnaround, restructuring professionals. How should we look at India from that angle, meaning in terms of legal, regulatory changes on the ground that would create opportunities here? I know that you've been very involved with some of the investment from the Abu Dhabi entities into India, so it'd be also interesting to hear what their experience has been. And then I'll ask you a couple of follow-ons on that one as well.
Sure. So I don't think you can look at the India restructuring story independently of the India growth story. So a lot has been said about the India growth story, India's century, and everybody has been raving about the growth opportunities for all the reasons that we discussed. So any conversation about India must first be seen in that background. Coming to the restructuring topic as well, I think India began their journey in a very formal sort of way about 8-9 years ago when we enacted the new law of insolvency and bankruptcy resolution, the IBC as it's called, and it's been a success. And why do I say that? At the time when the law was enacted, and thereabouts, the non-performing assets were about almost close to 16% of the banking system. Today they're less than 2.5%. And it seems as if, for various reasons, including growth and all the measures that were taken, that phase is kind of behind us. That being said, I think there is an opportunity for sort of intelligent and creative restructuring to take place in large businesses that do come up from time to time. For example, we recently had the Go Air bankruptcy as well. And so those opportunistic situations do come up, but I think it continues to remain a very hot topic. The despondency of 2016 is not there. I mean, the banking system is healthy today, but at the same time, I think it continues to need to keep a watchful eye on growing NPAs. So it's a cycle, as you know. Maybe there's a pipeline of future NPAs being built up somewhere in the system.
In terms of cycles, too, I mean, last quarter's GDP figures weren't that great. So does that present an opportunity for those of us in the turnaround?
I think it's certainly a bit of a wake-up call, but I mean, for anybody you ask, any economist or any agency, the estimates for GDP growth has been between 7.5, and which was the reason for the optimism for India's rise through the sort of global ranks. I mean, we are aiming to be the number 3 economy by 2030. And that's going to be a lot of GDP that's going to be added. But to build on what you said, the last quarter, and in just a quarter, we had the slowest GDP growth in the last 8 to 10 years. Now, there could be a number of reasons for that. It's just coming off the post-election period. We had a big general election in the earlier part of this year, and typically it is known that just following that in 1 or 2 cycles, things can be a bit slow. So our finance minister also commented on it because she was asked this question, and she doesn't think there is anything structural, and we are hoping to bounce back in the next quarter. So the India story hasn't fundamentally changed, still remains intact, promising and energizing, but maybe a combination of global factors and just this election cycle could be a factor.
I mean, one of the issues for foreign direct investment and investors has always been, how do I get my money in and out of India? Many routes have existed, Singapore, Mauritius. As of late, GIFT City has emerged.
Yeah.
Could you talk about GIFT City, and is that
So I'll separate GIFT City and just let me deal with the first part of what you said. You know, the thing about India is, and this is a bit of tongue-in-cheek, that India has been a hard place procedurally and from a policy point of view to get your money in, but it's never been a problem getting your money out, which could be a little different in certain neighboring countries where it's easy to get it in but harder to sort of get it out. So that's always been the fundamental proposition for India, and massive investments and investors have succeeded in both sort of the in and out journey. So, you know, repatriation, so long as you pay your Indian taxes, has never been a problem. But nonetheless, we've always carried a bit of this reputation of being a very hard place to make investments in. FDI is complicated, the rules are too difficult, hard to enforce contracts, etc., etc. It's all getting better. GIFT City, now what is GIFT City? GIFT City is the sort of Indian equivalent of ADGM and DIFC in India. GIFT City is a sort of a physical territory situate on the outskirts of Ahmedabad, which is the capital of Gujarat. It's the dream of Prime Minister Modi, and which has also been, you know, supported by a number of policy relaxations that have been made, both from an investment point of view, from a corporate point of view, as well as from a taxation point of view. So GIFT City is setting itself up as an international financial center, attracting foreign capital. ADIA has recently set up a vehicle in India, I think Teak Blossom or something like that, as to create effectively a fund in India as well. And there are a large number of international financial institutions who are doing that. Now, is it anywhere close to the financial centers in UAE? A long way to go. But it's about 10 years now since GIFT City was set up, and it's growing from strength to strength. It is a kind of an oasis of modernity when you physically visit it. We have an office there, and it certainly holds a lot of promise. What it does help in terms of this conversation is the ease of investing in India, family offices, portfolio investment, FDI, complicated financial products. All of that is in the realm of possibility, because like any other financial center, the normal rules of the country have been disapplied. The complicated foreign exchange regulation, all of that stuff which adds to the complexity of the sort of the India myth, have been disapplied and simplified over there. So GIFT City is a good option.
Good.
But I would just go through, approach it cautiously, step by step.
I'm going to try to sneak in one last question. As India grows, we're seeing a lot of outflows from India, not just corporate, but Indian families as well.
Yes.
You've been involved with some of the Indian families that are setting up here in ADGM. Why would they be looking at Abu Dhabi?
That's a great theme. I think there are both financial as well as kind of cultural reasons why this is happening. I think the estimates are that between 4,000 or 5,000 billionaires leave the country every year. And where are they relocating? I think they're relocating, a large number of them are relocating here in the region. Many of them are also relocating to London and other locations as well. Two reasons, I think. Lifestyle is one reason. Secondly, the ability to structure global investments is much easier from a tax as well as procedure point of view outside India, for example. And other countries sometimes make it difficult. Now, all the non-dom stuff that's going on in UK has not helped them, and it is one of the reasons why families, rich families are leaving the UK, and they're finding, and Indian families, they're finding options in this region which are attractive. So this is a big theme, I think, in terms of family investments and family offices. There is undoubtedly a trend of moving out from either India or from other parts of the world, and this is a very attractive destination.
Good. Well, our time is up. Mr. Shroff will be here today. He is a titan of the Indian economy and the legal system, so feel free to follow up with him.